Pushed to my head, my heart pumped louder and louder. My hands started to sweat. I looked at my mother. She tried to comfort me, but I could hear the pain in her voice and see the fear and tears in her eyes. She tried to hide them, but I saw through. I looked at the window where my father was. He smiled at me. A soft smile, but the same pain and fear were in his eyes. Many days came and passed, and I lost track of whether it was Monday or Thursday. I tried to look out of the window, but my legs didn't allow it. It was like the force of gravity was crashing down on me. I remember a train ride I went on once when I was little. It was nothing like this, though. The weather was nice and sunny, and the sweat on my hands was from happiness and excitement, and not fear. This was just pain. As the train came to a thundering halt, I phased out of this lovely thought and back into reality. I was forced into the void of the night. Robotic monsters ordered us around and were as cold and metallic as the taste in my mouth. The hounds growled like a wild wolf going for the kill. As my father was dragged away from me, I felt all of my anger from inside, most of which I didn't know I had, come up, and I thrashed around and tried to get as close as I could to my father. He told me to go, but I wasn't going to give up. At last 2 monsters came and pulled me and my mother away again. My mother cried silently along with me. She clung on to me and me to her. The robust robotic monsters screamed their alien demands in our face. There were doctors all around, examining people. Although I tried to convince myself that they were helping them, I knew deep inside that the poor people had no chance. Although I knew everyone knows that they were going to die sometime, I didn't think that anyone expected to go like this. No one expected to have to live like this, to be treated like this, or to have to try and survive. They acted like we were animals. No, they treated animals better than us. They poured us into the train, forced us to be on it countless days and nights, and then this. As we were led through to the metal city of discomfort, to the gates of hell, the blinding light reminded me of the lighting of the Shabbat candles, a sign of hope and the end of work. But these lights were just the start, and they were a sign of death. As we entered through the gates, I caught sight of what our home would be for a while. Everywhere I looked, I only saw 2 types of people: the metal monsters and shaven-headed thin structures in striped cloth, carrying wheelbarrows and spades around with them. Around what I could describe as a camp were rows of barbed wire, their teeth piercing through the snow like a knife through skin. The fence seemed never-ending. As we were dragged to a building full of monsters and other people. They were as faceless as the monsters, but were dressed in the same shabby cloth as the structures in the camp. At the moment, I was 13, but I felt about 5. I felt like my life was ending. I was searched, pulled, and clawed. I felt like I was in the middle of a war. Well, I wasn't I? They snatched the wedding ring off my mother. She tried to keep it as something to remember my father with, but they wouldn't allow it. They didn't only just take all of our memories, they stripped us of our humanity and dignity. As they shaved our heads, I could not bear to look at my mother, her golden curls falling to the floor just like the tears of hers and many others had. They sent us out from the metal city of monsters into the camp full of the structures, with all of our memories left behind, taken away with us, either sold or burnt. My father would soon turn into a distant memory, and all that we had shared gone forever. There is now a hole burnt in my heart, and would never be able to be filled, not as long as I am having to stay in this vile city, dead or alive, of doom or death. Although I have caused pain to my mother, I hope that my choice has saved many generations that would have had to come here if I had lived on in this hellhole.